Welcome to One Heart, One Mind. We have Jesse Powers as our opening music today. So take it away, Jesse.
Okay. This song's called Songbird. And it's a reminder to just let yourself be. Sometimes I am a songbird, singing high harmony. Atop the hemlock, I play my precious part in the earthly symphony. Sometimes I am a human. I still sing, but it's not the same. A human sings because she has something to say, and a songbird sings because it's the only way. All control is just illusion. No, it's freedom we possess. Such a small price to let go of what we do not have, to remember we are infinite. Brother, sister, do you remember me? Brother, sister, oh, I remember you. Brother, sister, do you remember me? Brother, sister, oh, I remember you. Every soul is a songbird. Every life is a song. Every moment the definition of perfection. Beyond right, never wrong. Brother, sister, do you remember me? Brother, sister, oh, I remember you. Brother, sister, do you remember me? Brother, sister, oh, I remember you.
Oh, that's gorgeous. I love that song. Did you write that? Oh, beautiful. Yeah. It's funny that you should, well, I'll talk about it in my talk, but that goes right along with something that I'm going to address in my talk. Beautiful. Oh, how usual. And so I would like to invite our practitioner of the day, Lissa Lazaro, to unmute. There you go, and to give us our opening prayer, our invocation. Good morning, Lissa.
Good morning. Well, yes, and I love Jesse's song also, and I kept thinking that in terms of what you're going to talk about, and in terms of the body's spiritual expression, that singing is just one of the grandest. I think singing and dancing and laughing are three that are joyful ones. So
Yeah,
at any
and
rate,
before I forget, happy birthday. Yesterday
you.
was your birthday.
Yes, it was. Yes, thank you very much. And so perhaps we could all take a nice deep breath to join together in this moment with each other and with spirit, knowing that there is only one power and presence that is the guide and creator of all, and the bearer of dreams, and the touchstone of all things that manifest as body, human or otherwise. And so I know that each one of us is a unique expression of this wonderful power and presence, and that we have the opportunity to be connected with each other in a community that is striving for a higher consciousness, is striving for creating heaven on earth. And so I welcome the opportunity for us to be together today. And I speak my word for each and every one of us on this call, or who listens to it in the future and is a part of participating in this process, that I speak my word that this service is blessed, and especially by the fact that Reverend Michelle will be able to guide us and teach us in a way of, as she does each Sunday, in a way of deepening our consciousness and understanding of how to have an increasingly freedom and peace-filled human experience by virtue of these teachings and understandings. And I'm so grateful that this is so. And so I release my word into the law by saying, and so it is.
So it is.
And our quotes of the day: humankind is a threefold principle of life and action. Each person is spirit, mind, and body. From spirit, we receive inspiration and guidance. In mind, we find a perfect law of life. And through body, we prove that we are individualized points of indivisible principle. And that's from Earnest Science of Mind, page 477. And in addition, from Rumi, the body itself is a screen to shield and partially reveal the light that is blazing inside your presence. And so let's just take a moment to take that in and identify with it. And so now we could do the quote of the month. Our affirmation for June. My body is a temple of the living spirit. It is spiritual substance, the supreme being, ever present, exists at the very center of my thoughts, feelings, and actions. This presence within me has the power to make all things new. And so it is.
Thank you, Lisa. I particularly love the quote, the Rumi quote about our body shielding and partially revealing. I'm thinking, wow, if we just let the whole light shine, we wouldn't be able to see. Anyway, we are just bright lights, aren't we? So, Jesse, we got some more music for us? All right.
I wrote this one just particularly for the body theme. So I encourage you all to just go into your beautiful vessel, your beautiful beingness, all the cells that are you as you. and feel. Every feeling fully felt in this body I am held. Every feeling fully felt in this body I am held. Honor all sensation, honor all that's real, honoring this body, bliss is mine to feel. Every feeling fully felt in this body I am held. You can sing it with me. Every feeling fully felt in this body I am held. Honor all sensation, honor all that's real, honor all that's real, honoring my body, honoring my body. Bliss is mine to feel. Honor all sensation, honor all sensation, honor all that's real, honoring my body. Bliss is mine to feel. Every feeling fully felt in this body I am held.
Oh, that is absolutely beautiful. I could just feel that in my bones, in my heart. That was really lovely. And that is what we've been doing all month, is honoring our body. So good morning and welcome to One Heart, One Mind, Center for Spiritual Living's online Sunday service. And this month, as we just said, we've been exploring our inner world through our relationship with body. And we've defined body as the entire physical universe, from atoms to galaxies, which of course includes our human bodies. And we've talked about how our human body is alive with the wisdom of the intelligence of God. You know, the inherent wisdom of our body is always, in every moment, bringing itself into health and into wholeness. You know, we've talked about how through our patterns of thinking and feeling, our body actually becomes our mind. We say we embody a belief or an idea or a quality. And we've talked about how our body is a sacred gift, and we honor it by caring for it and respecting it. And we've talked about how our bodies are perfectly designed for the divine life within us to express itself in the physical universe. Even though living our divinity through our humanity can sometimes be kind of challenging. You know, so in my search for insight into this topic, into the ways that we navigate both our divinity and our humanity, I ran across this wonderful little jewel from Mark Nepo in a book that I have of his called The Endless Practice. And it so perfectly expressed it, I thought I couldn't do any better. So I'm just going to read it to you. And he wrote, "Within each of us is a spirit which knows from birth how to say yes and not question that yes." There's a part of us that knows how to do that, right? "In some ways," he goes on, "the path of our spirit is like a hawk. It doesn't need to pay attention to roads or terrain. Our spirit simply flies directly to the heart of the matter. But the life we live is human and we can't escape the weight of our feet and our legs and our arms. We can't fly like a hawk, so we need to break trail and follow paths. In our humanness, we need to plod one step at a time and find our way, while our spirit is already there. In our own way, we have to reach an agreement between our spirit and our humanness, or there will be no peace for the life that carries them. Isn't that gorgeous? I love that. And isn't that the truth? You know, this being human is this beautiful dance between spirit and body. And as human beings, we're charged with learning how to express the divine to the best of our ability on this physical plane, to literally bring heaven to earth. And the science of mind teaches that there's only one life, and that we're this living part within a living whole. And the art of being human calls us to live our particular life as Michelle or Lissa or Leslie or Jesse or Rob, while still seeing from the perspective of the whole. It's a bit like patting your stomach and rubbing your head, or however that goes, to see from the perspective of the larger life, while feeling the depth of our humanity, everything that humans feel, and still staying connected to that unshakable ground of all being, which is our intimate connection to the whole, to God, to spirit, the all that is. And sometimes, if you're anything like me, we slip. Sometimes we get swept away by the activity of the physical world, the world around us, and all the cultural things that are going on, or by the strength of our human emotions. And we might temporarily lose the higher perspective. And that's when we get out our toolbox that's filled with spiritual principles and spiritual practices to embody them. And that's also why we have spiritual community to support each other, to connect, to make those connections that remind us who we are when we forget, so that we can consciously connect to our source. And as Mark Nepo said, to fly like a hawk to the heart of the matter, because we have that ability as well. We practice allowing our divinity to inform our humanity, and at the same time, listen to the wisdom of our bodies and how we feel, to help guide us home to that perspective of the higher vision. You know, in New Thought, we understand that our bodies are more than just these physical structures. You know, our bodies are composed of moving particles. I brought this out in our meditation this morning, and that we determine the state of the energy that is expressing as our body. And, you know, and that we feel what we think, and what we feel gets expressed out into our daily lives, you know, and because what we think and feel affects our beliefs and our perception of the world, and that influences us. So last week, I spoke to you about how the patterns of our thinking and feeling create our state of being, and that plays out through our bodies. Ultimately, it plays out as our lives and what we experience in our lives. Deepak Chopra wrote a quote down from him that I thought was applicable. He puts it this way. He says the same thing, that our thoughts create our body. What we call the body, he wrote, is nothing but a field of ideas. Even though we experience physicalness in the material world, it is really a matter of thought. Thought is making the whole body happen. It's making the whole world happen. And of course, this is at the heart of what we teach in New Thought, or in Science of Mind. You know, it makes our thought and our feeling makes everything that we experience in our world either an asset for us or a detriment, because it's about how we perceive everything. Chopra gave this example about how our body affects, how our thoughts affect our body, excuse me. He said, he gave this example that the moment we have the idea that we're thirsty, immediately our brains make a chemical that influences our behavior, and we start looking everywhere for water. And at the same time, Another part of our brain makes another chemical that prepares our body to hold the water. And simultaneously, all the organs of our body, our kidneys, our skin cells, our lungs, they all go to work to prepare to retain the water. So our body's looking for it, we're preparing for it. At that moment that we decide that we want water, throughout our body, all of our cells, all of our organs, everything works together. Chopra called it a space-time event, a kind of omnipresence, he said. And that idea that we want water is everywhere in our body at the same time. Our bodies are constantly expressing the wisdom of spirit, the wisdom of our thoughts into our feelings and our actions. You know, it's kind of amazing, really. Our bodies are pretty amazing. And as metaphysicians, we know the same is true for all areas of our lives. You know, when we accept a belief or an idea, whether it's conscious or not, it doesn't have to be conscious, because the subjective really fires up the creative law. The creative law will go to work to support us by outpicturing that belief or that idea that we're holding. And it outpictures it in every area of our life. Whatever pattern of thinking, feeling, and being we embody, life will, I love this line, you hear it in a lot of spiritual writings, life will conspire to bring about what we've accepted in consciousness. And Ernest Holmes, our founder, said that, I've got the quote, all nature conspires to produce and manifest the freedom of the individual. For us in particular, as individuals, that it may unloose its energy. We may be sure God is for us. And I love to say that. I love to know and to believe and to feel that God's got our back, that we have the ability to stand in the divine flow of life. And it will work for us. It does work for us. Even the things that are challenging in our life are highlighting for us the things that we need to heal. They pop up to get our attention and say, hey, here's something you need to look at. Maybe you're not seeing this correctly. So knowing that the beliefs we hold, either consciously or unconsciously, create and drive our lives, it's important to become aware of what we actually believe. And through practicing awareness, we're empowered to release the old patterns of belief that don't serve us anymore, or to reinforce the ones that do, and to even to create new patterns that align with this love and wisdom of the divine presence that's within us when we connect with that. And then to embody the new patterns that we want to create in our life. And the best way I know to discover what we actually believe is simply to look at our lives, to look at the things that we continue to demonstrate in our lives. Do you have things that, have you ever said, I don't know why this keeps coming up for me. I keep creating this. Well, because somewhere in you, that belief lives. And the things, and we can change those things, you know, even things that we've been unable, and I know this is true for me, things that I've been unable to demonstrate in my life, it means that something's in the way, that there's something that I'm believing that is getting stuck in the way. And I'm empowered to change that pattern, whether it's something I don't want to see, or something I'm unable to demonstrate that I do want to see, by becoming aware of what I truly believe. We're empowered to change by recognizing and being aware of what it is that we really believe. You know, and witnessing the thoughts and the feelings that we have as we move through our day, because I don't know about you, but I've noticed that when I remember to practice awareness or mindfulness, I notice how much my day flows more easily. You know, things don't take me by surprise. If something comes up that I'm not particularly happy about, I can engage it without blaming, judging, worrying, going into fear, just by the acknowledgement, look at this. There must be something that I need to work on here. I love that line, what's in the way is the way. And that's often the truth. The things that are in the way of either creating something we don't want or not allowing us to create what we do want are often the path forward for us. And as I become aware of what I'm actually believing, consciously or unconsciously, I'm empowered. We're empowered, and we become more calm and peaceful and in flow with the good that's actually available to us. So I've told you before that often I'll look through my library and look for all kinds of wonderful examples of whatever it is we're talking about this week. And I looked in a book called Encouraging Words by Dennis Merritt Jones. And he had this wonderful idea. And he writes about a 3-step mindfulness practice that he uses. And mindfulness is it's a way of practicing being aware. You know, we use awareness as a spiritual practice. How do I think? How do I feel? What am I doing? And he defines it as paying attention in a particular way on purpose in the present moment, non-judgmentally. So just becoming aware without fear, worry, judgment, or writing a story around it. And Dennis Merritt Jones wrote that when he was a kid, and you can probably relate to this, he had a very difficult time staying focused on a task, any task that was right in front of him. And he said that his mind did, what did he call it? An ample amount of wandering. Does your mind do an ample amount of wandering? I know mine does. And his parents and his teachers were constantly telling him to stop, look, and listen. And he reflected on how this early mantra that he had heard over and over again had been his first introduction to mindfulness or being aware. He noted that mindfulness had been, is, and has been practiced in pretty much every spiritual discipline culturally around the globe forever. You know, the people practice. I know many spiritual traditions teach mindfulness. We teach mindfulness, and it's just the ability to be present in the moment, to pay attention to what's going on, to become more aware of what we think and feel and do. And it's just a simple practice just to remind us to stop and observe what we're doing and how we feel, and listen to that inner voice of wisdom that's always within us, and allow it to guide us and direct us. Because it's so easy to go through our day habitually without paying attention to what's really happening in the present moment, and to how we feel, and to ask why. Oh, is there something I'm believing that I'm seeing through the lens of that belief that is making me see this situation in this way? You know, as human beings, we tend to lean towards the familiar rather than to step out into uncharted territory. Have you ever noticed that? I've certainly noticed it about myself. But we also know that in order to expand and to grow and to evolve, we got to move outside our comfort zone. It's so easy to get stuck in what we know. And I read, and this is really interesting, and I thought, oh, that's so human. I read that the reason that train tracks are the width that they are is because they were designed to be exactly the same width as horse-drawn carriages. Isn't that funny? And in turn, horse-drawn carriages were designed to fit the ruts created by ancient Roman chariots. We tend to do things the way we've always done them. And I'm thinking, just like the train tracks and the ruts, our thoughts and our beliefs develop ruts or patterns that we do out of habit rather than because they're relevant or even effective in our lives. But here's the thing, once we can identify the things in our lives that we do just because we've always done them that way, then we can begin to make small, but really effective changes. You know, I know there are things in my life that I do the way I do them just because that's the way I've always done it. You know, there just are. And I'm sure that's true for you. Some things I probably don't even realize that I'm doing them. You know, I know that when I get angry, I grit my teeth, just like my father did, and just like his grandmother did. You know, just some things, just to become aware of these silly little habits that we're doing. I was going to tell a funny story. I remember one time I was mad at my youngest son, Abe, and Justin, who's on the call, said, "Watch out, Abe, she's gritting her teeth." So that was my tell that I was angry when I grit my teeth, still is. Anyway, I got off on a little tangent there. So here's the thing. If we want to facilitate connection and growth and wholeness and joy in our lives, you know, the recipe is not complicated. It's actually pretty simple. But the problem is that, well, let's not even call it a problem. The challenge is that it's just not always that easy to follow the recipe. And as someone who has been studying and living the science of mind teaching for over 30 years now, like I know so many of you on this call have been as well, I've discovered that there are just a few things that I have to dedicate myself to every day. First, I have to set aside time to make a conscious connection with God. For me, it looks like this, and it's going to look different for you. I have to set aside time to sit in quiet meditation and prayer and contemplation. The best time that works for me is first thing in the morning when I first get up, you know, before I get busy with the activity of the day. And I've discovered that when I move into, right out of the gate, that inner experience of love and of peace, of openness and even of gratitude first thing in the morning, then it sets me up to move through the rest of my day knowing that I belong to this presence and to this power that supports and sustains me. Not that I don't have to stop, look, and listen throughout my day, just as Dennis Merritt Jones does. And I love that. I think that's a wonderful little practice. I do have to do that. But when I begin in a conscious connection with Source, I have much more compassion for myself and for others as I move through my day. I judge less. I worry less. I blame less, and I embrace what comes up through that perception, through that lens of the higher view from my divinity or my wholeness, even though I'm acting and moving in the world of my humanness. I look through the lens of wholeness, the wholeness and the love of God. One of the things that I've been doing along with my morning meditation, and maybe you guys are already, maybe some of you might already be aware with this, my meditation and my prayer time is also accompanied lately, or actually this year, by at 6 o'clock in the morning in Pacific time, Reverend Dr. Edward Villion, who's in Santa Rosa. He's actually the spiritual leader of Centers for Spiritual Living, and he was my first teacher. I took foundations from him way back when. Anyway, he has this morning spiritual practice on Facebook, and anybody can join in. And what he's doing is he's using the book 365 Science of Mind. You may have seen it. It's by Ernest Holmes, and there's a passage for every day of the year. And every day, Dr. Edward reads the passage for that day. And one of the things that I love that he does is that he kind of gives his own take on it. You know, Ernest Holmes wrote that book, or most of his things, 100 years ago now, almost 100 years. He started writing in 1918, maybe even before then. I'm not an expert on that, but I'm sure somebody on the call knows. We just celebrated 100 years, so I know it's been a long time. But anyway, so his things can be a little dated. And so Edward will do some updating in the sentiment or the language to kind of bring it into the 21st century. He doesn't change the meaning. He just changes the way that we relate to it today. And I do that every morning, and that has become a wonderful part of my day. You don't have to get on with Edward to read it, but just to read something and to contemplate and have that be part of your morning routine is a really powerful way to come into that conscious connection. And I honestly think you would enjoy it too if you got on with Edward. One of the things that I noticed about Holmes's daily passages and this is really why I'm telling you about this. I came the long way around, but is that he frequently, in almost every passage, almost in every day, he declares what he believes. And I've been thinking about what a wonderful practice that is, to daily declare what we believe. You know, you could even write it down as a statement of belief and read it every day. And then, but the idea is to use it as a guide, something to direct us through our day. You know, it reminds me a bit of what our late friend Jim Reese used to say. He said, what if we acted like this stuff really works? You know, I think writing down or reviewing what it is that we really believe and what practices we really have seen be successful and helpful in our life. What if we behaved as if this stuff really works? What a novel idea. You know, I mean, for example, you know, sometimes I find myself moving into fear or worry or judgment, you know, blame, or any perspective that really isn't in alignment with what I profess I believe. And then I have the opportunity to stop, look, listen, be mindful, become aware, so that I can shift my perspective to seeing from that witness self, that higher view, to see through the lens of my wholeness and my allness with the one life, and to align with and to embody the truth I profess to live my life by. What if I behaved as if this stuff actually works? And you know, there's all kinds of tools that we can use to help us make that shift, to move out of, you know, our human small perspective and into the larger one. You know, if I find that I'm getting stale with doing any practice, my morning routine, which I already told you, I shift it up. I find that I'm someone that kind of likes to mix things up when it comes to my spiritual practice. I don't know about you, you might actually benefit from staying with the simple practices or whatever practices that you've been doing for a long time. You know, and there I have my perennial practices. I definitely need to meditate and do spiritual mind treatment and maybe some contemplative reading every day. But for the other things, I kind of need to mix it up and make it fresh. Otherwise, I get stale, and I don't move into that place in a fresh and really sincere way. I don't know if that makes any sense, but it's true for me. So through the years, I've done all kinds of things, and I'm sure you have too. I've done tapping. I still do tapping, emotional freedom technique, it's called. And I use different affirmations to draw me into the present moment. I love the stop, look, listen. I'm probably going to use that for a while. Something that connects me with that experience of God. I do Jim Massapus technique. Thank you, Jim. He says, thank you, God, that. And then he states a matter of an affirmation, whatever it is you want to create. I use guided meditations, visioning, visualization, gratitude techniques, which are wonderful and easy to use. I just like to keep things fresh. And these are all practices that we teach and talk about often in Centers for Spiritual Living. And if you're interested in something that I mentioned and we haven't talked about it in a while, just ask me and I can maybe help you. Oh, better yet, fill out the survey that we sent out, the link in the e-newsletter. I would love it if more people would fill out the survey so that I know what it is you want us to bring to you. What are you interested in? You know, if you could fill out that survey, I would consider it a personal favor. Thank you for that. So anyway, I wanted to say that one of the practices that I've been using a lot lately is the updated ancient Hawaiian practice of Ho'oponopono. It took me a while to even pronounce it. It's Ho'oponopono. It's a practice of reconciliation and forgiveness. You've probably heard of it. And the reason I've been using it a lot lately is because, and here's what I've been using it for. I have been trying to shift the way I view other people. specifically people that I have a long history with. And in my head, I have this pattern of thinking and feeling about them that I want to shift, because people are never the same. They're always changing and growing and moving forward. And if I continually keep putting my vision of what I think they are on them, then that's not helping them. And it's certainly not helping me. So sometimes I get into this pattern of not allowing someone to be their new self, to change, to hold a greater vision. And that's what compassion is, meeting them where they are and holding a greater vision or opportunity for them. So, and Ho'oponopono is a way of clearing out an old idea or an old belief from a past experience or a repeated pattern and allowing space for change. It's pretty simple, really. The let me say that again. Ho'oponopono affirmation or prayer, if you want to call it that, is really simple. It's 4 simple lines. It's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And it isn't a petition to something outside of ourselves. We're not saying, oh my gosh, I'm guilty, I'm this terrible person, I have to ask for. It's not like that at all. It's simply a reminder that sometimes we go unconscious of what we truly believe, and we forget who we truly are. And it brings us back into our connection with God in the present moment, right now. It's sort of like Joe Vitale teaches this process, and he wrote a book called Zero Limits, where he calls it bringing us back to zero, to the neutral zone, where we can sit in the divine presence and realign with the truth in that presence. It's a bit like, and I like this analogy, it's a bit like if you're in a grocery store and you're all engrossed in finding what you need and you accidentally run into someone with your cart and it brings you back into the present moment. You say, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I went unconscious there for a moment. And Ho'oponopono is a simple technique for bringing us back to our connection with God in this moment. So if I read something, or if I see something or hear something that makes me feel uncomfortable, feelings are a great navigator, always go to the feelings, I can quickly move into the affirmation, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. Now, I may not say it out loud because people might think I'm crazy, but you say it internally. It's for you. You know, I can quickly move into that and deal with how I'm feeling, not how someone else made me feel, but how I feel. It asks us, the Ho'oponopono practice asks us to take full responsibility for how we feel. And because we're one with the divine, we're all one with each other. There's that common thread of source that runs through all of us. When I change the way that I see you, my relationship with you changes, and you change in my experience. Do you see how that works? There is only one life. So this week, I invite you to practice daily the presence of God by turning your attention inward, connecting with the experience of the presence of the divine, and then throughout your day, continue to look for your patterns. Things that you might not even realize you're thinking, feeling, and doing that might keep you from experiencing something fresh and new and good in your life. Take time, stop, look, listen. Listen to that inner wisdom that's always communicating with you in some fashion. You know, changing your experience in the world begins by changing your inner experience and standing fully in your wholeness, in the flow and the grace of the divine one moving through you. And your body is a part of all of that. It is all sacred. It is all good. So let's just take a deep breath here and stop and go into prayer, into honoring all of life, body, mind, spirit. So taking a nice deep centering breath in. I know that there is only one life. That life is the life of the divine. It is the life of the whole. and within it, all activity takes place. Our humanness takes place. Our humanness that expresses our divinity. So I speak my word for and about each and every person that is on this call and each and every person that is not, that there is an awakening, an awareness that knows who and what we are, that knows that there is only one life, that we are a part of it, that we are loved beyond measure, and that we participate with this divine flow by our awareness to bring forth and create a life that we want to live and that will benefit and support others and the world. And so for this, I'm just so deeply grateful. Gratitude expands my heart and my mind and my body to embody the all. So for this, I'm just so grateful. And this gratitude is creative and juicy and big and expands me. So I just sit in that. I revel in that. And I signify my agreement. I invite you to signify your agreement by saying with me, and so it is. And so it is. Oh, deep breath again. And I believe that it is my beloved and always optimistic and wonderful creative friend, Rob, that is doing the sacred giving. I was trying to think of a wonderful way to describe you because I just love being in your light, Rob. You are just such a delight. And I want to thank you. I'll just do it as a full-on thank you to everyone here. Thank you for holding the space for me the other day. The demonstration was amazing and continues to be. You are such a powerful prayer. I love you for that. I love you for a lot of things, but that particularly. All right, I'm going to be quiet now. You go for it.
Awesome. Oh, wow. Wow. This is our contribution time, and always helps me if Michelle puts up the slides, because that way I don't miss any steps.
There you go.
If you're, what I notice when I watch our senior minister, the conclusion that always hits me is that she was born for this. And it is, I know that it's the mission of Michelle and the board that we grow the organization that is One Heart, One Mind. And when you show up, and when you come to Sunday service, and when you come to classes and or other functions, and when you contribute what you can, what you're saying is, yeah, you're on a mission to grow this outfit, and we got your back. So along those lines, if you'd like to contribute to One Heart, One Mind, you could send us a shoebox full of cash, but the preferred ways are to contribute either through Venmo, which is a great way to give, costs you nothing, costs us nothing, or send a check to Jim Massapust at the address that's available. And it's better than the shoebox full of money, because that way he's got to drive to the bank. So anyway, next slide, if you would.
I'm getting there. I'm slow today.
Oh, that's okay. There we go.
Wait. There it is.
Okay, join me if you would in reciting, I recognize that all supply flows from the divine givingness of spirit. My gift is a continuation of this divine flow. I give and receive from this infinite supply. I give in faith, in love, and in joy, and it flows back to me in kind. And so it is.
Thank you, Rob. Fabulous. And I'll come back to you for the benediction after Yvonne gives us some announcements.
Yeah. Well, our Monday from 6 to 6:20 is our usual prayer circle that comes together to specifically pray for our One Heart, One Mind Center. And please join us in the silent prayer and then watch as the wonderful results of those prayers manifest. Pretty exciting. Tuesday evening, we continue with our spiritual learning circle from 6 to 7. The learning is facilitated by Reverend Michelle and practitioner Ray Lane. And we will be covering chapter 5, The Grateful Heart, of Eric Butterworth's book, Spiritual Economics. This is actually my favorite chapter so far in the book. It's really wonderful. So please join us. On July 16th, get your calendars out, July 16th, from 2 to 5 p.m., we will be having fun and laughing as we play bunco. It will be in San Marcos in the community room where the Massapusts live. So put it on your calendar and come and join the fun. It really is fun.
It's
And
so
another
much
really
fun.
sorry.
I was just going to say, you know, when I think I've said this before, but when someone first asked me to play bunco, I was like, I don't want to play bunco, but you know, I did, and I had such a good time. So come and get your bunco on. It's really a lot of fun.
And it is fun because you can talk and have conversation while you're playing. It doesn't require too much mind play or work. Unscheduled income is still happening. Don't forget to identify when you send your tithes in that it's for unscheduled income. And I hit a $30 one. I mean, $30 was the tithe that I put in this week. Was pretty cool. I really enjoyed doing that. Did you like getting it, Michelle? Okay, that's everything I have today.
Awesome. And I want to thank anybody that came to Rabbi David Zaslow's presentation. It was amazing last Thursday. And, you know, I kind of messed up and forgot to ask for a love offering if you happen to be there. And a belated love offering would be accepted as well. So I forgot to say that until it was too late. Go ahead, Yvonne.
Actually, it's really, really important in Judaism to, and in what we do to recognize and let somebody know how much you loved what they did. So that's why he said, what's this love? What's this love thing? That we have to tithe, and there's a reason for it, and it's wonderful. So just think of that. When you're
sitting, it was kind of funny at the end of his presentation, which was so fabulous. I waited until the bitter end because I almost forgot to ask for a love offering. And he says, "What's this love offering? We call it an obligation."
Yeah, and they're serious about it. So
yes, it's true. We do call it a love offering because we know that it stands us in the flow of that circulation. But anyway, I thought I'd bring that up. Thank you for all coming to that too. I know there were a lot of you on this call that were there, and it was fabulous. And I really appreciated your presence. And I'm sure you appreciated what Rabbi David has to say. He wanted to, he sent me an email afterwards saying that he would be interested in doing an interfaith service with his congregation and our congregation, which I think would be amazing. So I'll see if I can set that up with him. Rob, may I call on you to bless us, to take us out with your prayer, and then we'll have Jesse sing our last song. Oops, I think Rob's frozen. He's not moving. So we'll give him a second. He might unfreeze, but so far it's not. I know, Jesse. It's like right here. Oh, let's see. I think we'll move past that.
Rob must be short for a robot. Robot frozen in time.
Well, I bet I could tap on any of these fabulous practitioners. Reverend Leslie, would you mind doing our benediction? Rob got off. Well, actually, let's see if he gets back on. So I love listening to his. I love listening to your prayers too, Reverend Leslie. But if he gets back on in time, there he comes. All right, he's back.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
Hey, just to finish the thought, to take this opportunity to remember that this stuff actually works. And isn't that one of the greatest blessings in life? And anyway, if anybody can still hear me, I am so grateful this is true. I am so happy for the goodness of the universe and for the fact that my word is law. I release this word to the universe. I let it be. And in part A and part B, I say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you. I'm so glad we waited for you. That's wonderful. And Jesse, why don't you take us out with some of your absolutely beautiful music?
Oh, wow. Thank you so much. Let's do it. We can change the world if we want to. We can change it all if we want. Say with me, we can be 6 feet apart. We'll bow our heads and honor that which is greater than we are. Take the pain inside your heart and give it to the light. Together we're better, so let yourself remember that tonight. Because we can change the world if we want to. We can change it all if we want. We can change the world if we want to. We can change it all if we want. It isn't mine to ever know the answer to it all. But what I do know is we must go where we are called. Everything is screaming out, honey, it's all inside. Begin with me within and see the peace that we ignite. Stillness is the way. Stillness is the way. Stillness is the way. Stillness is the way. We're gonna breathe in, gonna breathe out. That's about all that we can do right now. Maybe it's not ours to figure out today. Gonna be here, gonna be now. Peace of mind, gonna find us somehow. And I know, but stillness is the way. 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 And we can change the world if we want to. Thank you guys.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. Oh, Steve, I thought something was going on with my screen, Steve. Steve's sharing our snacks with us here.
Oh my gosh, that looks so yummy. I'm
It does
getting
really,
hungry.
right? Yeah, the pancakes. Oh, the French toast looks really good.
And for those that don't eat meat, there's a lot of fruit and biscuits.
There you go.
Muffins.
Thank you, Steve.
My pleasure.
Thanks for bringing the snacks.
Always.
Well, I'm so glad you're all here today. Having a wonderful day today. And all of you contributed to that feeling of good. And I appreciate that. Appreciate y'all being here. Well, anybody want to say anything?
Rev, I just want to say thanks for your message. It was awesome. And this whole month, I mean, I haven't been here for all of it, but I was here for at least 2, maybe 3.
Yeah.
Was I here for 3?
2, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, so, it's just been great to listen to you. It's always nice to hear CSL ministers talk about the body,
Yeah.
in all the ways, because I think that's something that we miss. So it's been awesome.
I couldn't agree with you more. And kudos to the people that planned the overall year-long themes, because we've talked about stuff that generally we think of a lot of times as not specifically the focus for New Thought and for CSL in particular. And it's been really, really good to look at everything's God. Your body's God. Having fun is God. All of the stuff that, it's all God. And to, and to behave as if this stuff really worked.